Let me bring in Andrew Brandt, columnist at MMQB, the former Packers executive, former agent. What do you think of what we're saying for the Miami Dolphins and what they should do?
Always good to be with you, Dan. You know, I look at these two quarterbacks as two of the more interesting business of football stories of the year. Fitzpatrick's a business of football Hall of Famer. I mean, he keeps making money. He keeps getting multiple millions from these teams that just want him as a stopgap. Yet he finds a way. And Josh Rosen gets picked number 10 in the draft, gets the huge bonus from Arizona, gets millions and millions from them, and they don't even use them after a year. So I just think this is always the dilemma. So Josh Rosen's like a first-round pick, even though he's a year removed. And do you have the stopgap or do you not? Last year, Baker Mayfield sits behind Tyrod Taylor, Josh McCown ahead of Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson behind Joe Flacco. All these guys are just kind of waiting. So this is the question you're just debating. Why wait? Why wait? Because the guy's going to have growing pains at some point.
Yeah.
So get rid of them. Get rid of the growing pains as soon as possible. I don't understand the signing of these $10 to $15 million stopgaps every year.
I'll get your thoughts on Ezekiel Elliott, and if you were his agent, what would your leverage be? I don't know if you saw Bucky Brooks's article, his list of the top quarterbacks, 5 quarterbacks going into this season, but Aaron Rodgers was not on the top 5 list, and the headline was Aaron Rodgers is overrated. What do you make of that, former Packers executive?
Yeah, the guy who was in the room drafting Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to get a good response out of me. I mean, I think he's the most talented quarterback in the league. I just don't, I would put him up there with Mahomes in that category. I just don't understand that.
Well, who's better? Now, can you answer this as a guy who was, and maybe you can't do it objectively because you bought into Aaron Rodgers and said draft him when you were with the Packers, but he's the most talented. We all talk about that. That's what we always start with Aaron Rodgers. He's the most talented. Okay. Is he the best quarterback?
I mean, listen, I'm going to say yes. I do understand, looking at the recent sample size, it wasn't good. But again, defending him, I guess. Last year, game 1, knee injury, lingers all year. By the way, a game they beat the Bears. I just think that it got stale with Mike. I've talked about that before. I hired Mike 13 years ago. 13 years with Aaron Rodgers got stale, and you could tell it in the offense. Nothing against either of them. No one's fault. Relationships get that way. So I think we'll see a different Aaron Rodgers with the new coach.
Do you think that if I said you can have Patrick Mahomes for Aaron Rodgers this season?
Yeah, again, my bias is showing. I'll take Aaron this season. You tell me 5 seasons, of course, I'm taking Mahomes.
All right. If you're Zeke Elliott's agent, what is your strategy here, and what leverage do you have?
Well, you're hoping that there's a realization that as good as they can be, they could be a lot better with Elliott. They know that. You're hearing all the devaluation of running back stories. You're hearing about, Todd Gurley is replaced by a journeyman, and they continue seamlessly. You're hearing about 7th-round running backs coming out every year and having 1,000-yard seasons. You've just got to play to the point that that's all fine, but this guy's truly special. And there aren't many. And you can count them on less than one hand. And he's that guy. So with someone special, all that goes out the window. And you pay him at the top of the market now rather than waiting until he's more situated contract-wise to do that.
But he's got 2 years left on this deal. And so it's not even like Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper. Yeah. They're coming up sooner than him. And it would feel like in the locker room, take care of the guys who are up sooner than Zeke Elliott. But can I give him a contract that does give him money, extends him, but it's also team-friendly?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Now, everything I was just saying, I'm putting on my Packers hat, my executive hat, and I have arguments to refute that, a couple of which you just mentioned. Here's the problem. Not only do you have devaluation of running backs, but you just mentioned you have star players closer to the end of their contract. And everything you do as a team executive, everything you do is judged by the rest of the team. So you're going to have a line at your door if you do someone with 2 years left, and that's always the case. The problem for Elliott is he might do a contract. And the reason I say that is I'm sure with Gordon and Elliott, they've put out some offers. And they can look at themselves and say, you know what, this guy's got 2 years left, or option for Gordon, but we're going to offer something. But it's not good. It's not good. It's not anywhere near what they want. Now, if they turn that down, the team can say, oh, wow, well, we did something we didn't want to do, and you still don't want it. I just think here's the contracts that Gordon and Elliott are going to get. Obviously guarantee this year because they were going to play this year, guarantee next year, and then it's kind of we'll see after that. No matter how much money they get the next 2 years, these teams aren't going to guarantee beyond 2020. It's just for running back, you just don't do that. And, Levy and Bell, everything's been proven that there's not going to be a lot of guaranteed money socked into these running back contracts. 2 years max.
Wow. And you know what? Jerry Jones is such a bad poker player now that, right? This isn't Jerry Jones from the early 90s. This is a different Jerry Jones, and everybody knows, you can say what you want. Jerry's going to cave here at some point. Would you sense that if you were Zeke's agent, you would say to your client, hey, you know what? He's going to give you what is great market value. They need you. He needs to win a Super Bowl. He's desperate to win a Super Bowl. We're going to get paid.
Yeah, I think cave's going to be an operative word. Listen, here's what I did, Dan. I had a few of these, Javon Walker and Mike McKenzie, Donald Driver in my day, and there's three things you can do. One, you can totally ignore them, say show up when you show up. Two, you can rip up their contract, give them a brand spanking new top-of-the-market deal. Teams don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And sort of the middle ground is kind of throw them some extra money that what I call earnables, like some workout money, some performance incentives, some extra per-game roster bonuses that bring it up millions of dollars without you can face your team and say, hey, I didn't tear that up. I'm not doing that. So I think cave in the fact that I think he'll get a new deal, but I think Elliott will, quote-unquote, cave, that he won't get this top-of-the-market, major guaranteed Todd Gurley $45 million plus guaranteed deal. I just don't think it'll happen.
But I also look at this, and the leverage the Cowboys may have is, you know what, we're going to give you less guaranteed money because look at the way you've acted off the field,
right.
We're sorry, we can't give you that guaranteed money that you think, but do you think that is going to be used in this situation?
I thought I saw a quote from Stephen Jones talking about telling his own kids, everything's judged. Your Facebook posts, the whole body of work is judged, which is kind of a subtle, not so subtle hint that, yes, that's part of the equation. And when I negotiated contracts, I didn't hit it over the head with a hammer to the agent, but they knew. Someone had off-the-field problems, someone had character issues well documented. That affects the whole thing, just like good character adds value to contract negotiations when I was representing players that teams love for their work ethic. It all goes in there. It's all part of the mix.
If we talk in a month, what's the situation in Dallas?
My guess is Elliott's in with a contract guaranteeing, I don't know, 25 to 30 million over the next 2 years, and nothing guaranteed after that.
And then is Dak signed? Amari Cooper signed?
Yeah, I think Cooper's closer. I know Joel's at the camp these days, Joel Siegel, his agent. Prescott is going to be a big deal. We'll just see where that is. I can criticize the Cowboys for this, Dan, and my last thing is that you got to stagger these. When I had a quarterback, a star receiver, you got to stagger them. You got to get one done last year. You can't be letting all these guys come at the same time. Now, maybe they didn't plan on Elliott, obviously, but that's the problem here.
What's the craziest negotiation you ever had? You don't no names. Craziest.
Well, I'll give you a name.
Oh.
Well, I'm not going to give you a lot of details, but the name.
I'd rather you didn't give me the name, but gave me all the details.
Well, I had a player that I was a star player for us that I just could not get to focus on his deal, so I flew to him, went to his place where he shows up every day for his lunch. He walks in the door, looks, Andrew, what the blank are you doing here? And I said, we got to get your deal done. He said, relax, and play golf. So I'm not a good golfer. He's a scratch golfer. We played. And I tried to get it done that day. I tried to get it the next day. Finally got him to focus, and his agent flew down, and we signed a huge deal on a golf course somewhere.
So that was Mississippi. You were in Kill, Mississippi?
I'm not talking about that.
Did the guy you were sitting down with playing golf, did he sound anything like this?
Course. I got to sign a deal, of course.
That's our Brett Favre impersonation.
I spent 3 years managing. Managing Brett and Aaron, who it was. You had one guy who's not. It's not great to walk in every day and see your replacement sitting there. And on Aaron's side, it's not great walking every day and not knowing if you'll ever play.
But when did you know that Rodgers could be as good, if not better, than Favre?
I'm going to say first practice, first mini camp. I mean, this guy...
Wait, you knew that he was as good as Favre?
No, but I'm looking around, and oh, my God, the guy takes the ball, movement, and Donald Driver's 60 yards on a rope, and Ted Thompson never, ever showed emotion, ever. But I locked eyes with him when that happened, and he gave me a look like we just solved our future.
But did people want to move Favre earlier than what happened?
No, but I think you saw towards the end, I think everyone saw, it was not the recruitment in southern Mississippi like it had been every year. It was more, okay, you decide. And that's when he retired, and we turned the keys over to Aaron, of course. And then I think in retrospect, and what we should have done, it would have been a very hard conversation. But I knew in the back of my mind he'd get the itch again. And, maybe we should have had the tough conversation that, if you want to come back, just letting you know we're turning this over. This is Aaron. Because when he did come back, as everyone knows, it was messy, it was ugly. And I heard Mike McCarthy tell him those 3 words that no one ever wants to hear, which are, we've moved on. And that's tough for anyone, especially such a great player like Brett, such the face of the franchise for 2 decades.
If you had one game to win, you could have Rodgers or Favre at their peak.
Hey, you're killing me here.
That's my job.
I guess I'll say Brett because he's done. Aaron's got more to come. So it's going to be a tougher question, obviously, when we look back on both.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
By the slightest of, one of those Tour de France finishes there.
Andrew, great to talk to you. Hopefully I got you in trouble with somebody, and we appreciate your time.
I'll be back soon to grill you, Dan.
All right. Andrew Brandt used to be with the Packers, now a columnist for the MMQB.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.